Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and today we're taking a look at Paladins. Now this is a game that just popped up on Steam. It's been out for a long time. I remember first playing this game back a year ago. More than a year ago actually, and it was in closed beta then, but now it is in free-to-play open beta for you guys to check out. Now what is this game? It is a first-person shooter, which has drawn a lot of Overwatch comparisons, which I think is a little bit unfair. Let's just put it that way, it's a little bit unfair. Because this game incorporates a lot of MOBA elements. But first, let's have a look at the... well, it is free to play, so let's have a look at the store. Now, you do have bundles. It's a game made by Hi-Rez, so you have these gems, which you might recognize from another game. I believe called Smite. I don't know. If you've heard of Smite, I don't know. Maybe many people haven't heard of Smite, but anyway, it's made by the same people as Smite. So you have these microtransactions here. You've got the little the gems, which is a premium currency. I believe it's called gems. I could be wrong about that. There's also a Founders Pack available on Steam right now, which gives you a skin and a mount. All of that is completely cosmetic. Right, all of this is cosmetic. Everything that you could buy, at least for the characters anyway, is cosmetic. The only thing that isn't are these chests. So these cost 50, and I can't seem... oh, sorry, it's called crystals, not gems. So this is the sort of pricing that you have here. And these are all converted according to the prices on Steam. So you can pay for this using your Steam wallet, I believe, now. And you can see just the rough prices of it. $5... well, thereabouts is going to get you 200 crystals, and that will get you 4 chests. And what the chests do, basically, you can just open them up. They're kind of like card packs in Hearthstone. And why I say they're like card packs is because they quite literally are cards. Let's have a look at a character here. These are some of the characters. You can see there's more slots available for more characters to come out. So let's have a look at Barrack, for example. So this is a frontline character. Sort of your carry character, if you will. And let's have a look at the loadout. So when we create a loadout, we have these slots, and we can equip cards, and all of these improve your base stats in a certain way. And they also give you additional sort of bonuses. So here you've got Barrack has a turret that he can place down, so that gives him and more health for his turret, so it can reduce the deploy time and things like that. And you can have a look at, let's just go back again to his basic loadout, and you can see what that comes with. And this does come with some leveled up cards. So how you actually put this together is you pick, let's say I want his rocket boots to be faster, I want cooldown, so I'm going to be a bit faster. Increases health of his barricade, and let's give him a stronger turret and reduce deploy time. Okay, so now we've got a total of 12 points, and each card has 1 point associated with that. Now, you don't have to have all 5 cards. You can just have a few of them, and you just sort of add points to them as you want. Now, these go up to a maximum of 4, and that will, of course, increase their cost and their value overall, but it also increases their effects. So now this is 40%, this his barricade now is 500 health. So you can do that sort of thing if you want to. Let's just clear that. And go back. So that's all well and good. We can do this for any of the characters that are currently available. And you can build them however you want. Now let's jump into a game and let's talk about the gameplay. Alrighty, here we go. And what you just saw there was the loadout. So that's the loadouts I was talking about before. And this is the item shop where you can actually pick up different items. And sort of build your character accordingly, and of course all those things can be upgraded for currency, which builds over time. As you would expect from most typical MOBAs and things, that you do get those from kills and objectives and all that. So that's all well and good. There is a bit of lag going on. The netcode is not particularly fantastic at the moment, so you will notice a lot of hooks tend to miss. Part of that is because I'm incompetent, and the other part as well because of the lag that I'm getting because right now the servers just really aren't optimized just yet. Alright, so you can see here we're on a mount that switches you to third person. You can't use any of your abilities or attack while mounted, but you do move significantly faster. So you can imagine this is sort of like Heroes of the Storm and that sort of thing, where it's really just a travel form to get between places. And here we are in a bit of a bad spot, because we are a little bit surrounded. And there's a first miss, and there we go, there's an actual hit. So you can see the amount of delay between the shot and the actual hit there. It's just that's just due to the lag that I'm getting while playing this match. And you might be wondering, why wouldn't I, wait till I get a better match? Well, the problem at the moment is that most of the games seem to have this issue where the game detects a sort of bad state, either desynchronization or some connection issues or something like that, and it gives you a 30-second countdown and it ends the game. So that's kind of why I've waited for this one. But you can see here me just getting killed there, just kind of overextended and really in a bad spot. Should have disengaged there. You might have also noticed at the bottom left, so when I start firing at somebody, it engages the sort of in combat state, and that sort of stops your health regeneration and a bunch of other things as well. So you can see I can fire without triggering that, but as soon as I hit somebody, I'm in combat. So yeah, that's kind of what that does. So you can see I'm not actually regenerating health. Now the bar sort of goes down. Once it sort of ticks down, then it starts regenerating health. But of course, I should have waited for that. You can see it's not really like an easy game. It is a little bit tricky, especially if you don't know the characters all that well. And I've only been playing this for a couple of days now, so still trying to learn the characters. But as you can see, compared to games like Overwatch, well, there are some similarities. For example, we are trying to capture a point, and now you see there's a payload that is there, and that goes in two different directions. So depending on which team captures it, that will determine which team is the attacker or defender. So you can see the enemy team here is on the attack because they've got the payload, and they have to push that all the way to the end. Whereas we would have to do the same thing if we had captured it as well. And you can see that this is more a sort of fantasy setting compared to the sort of sci-fi futuristic stuff that Overwatch is. Even though you have things like guns and all of that, it's still more it's a bit closer to medieval fantasy, I would say. But anyway, the gunplay in particular, like you can see here, this cannon that I'm using is sort of like a naval broadsider type cannon, kind of like the broadsider in Fallout 4, actually. It's a naval cannon firing cannonballs, and it's got a decent arc to it, so you kind of use it like a grenade launcher. And my character's a bit more of a tank combined with a carry. So if you're familiar with MOBA terminology, that's basically two main sort of frontline classes that are combined together, and of course this is the appropriately named frontline class, and they're designed to sort of be up front where the payload is and sort of pushing, drawing attention, that sort of thing. We do have a lot of health, but not as much as we would have with the basic loadout, because I have switched it out for a little bit more damage instead, and kind of got flanked there without really paying attention. So you can see this other character here, that's his ultimate ability, and there are ultimates as well. There are lots of little abilities that the characters have. Ultimate ability, of course, charges in the same way that you might expect with games like Overwatch. Let's see if I can get the ultimate going here on these guys. Now, I am recording this commentary in post as well, so you can see there's the shield ability as well. I'm just trying to contest the point, but I got taken out by the assassin there. So we've lost that particular round. But just in that short space of time, you can actually see just what this game is all about. It's much closer to its MOBA roots than it is a shooter. The gunplay itself is not particularly satisfying, but of course it's all skill-based, skill shooting, and most of the weapons, I believe, are actually projectile-based. There isn't actually anything that appears to be hit-scan. Even most of the rifle-type weapons seem to be very fast projectiles at the very least, so if you're looking for more of a type of shooting experience, you can play those characters as well. There is a sniper character with a carbine and sniper rifle, which kind of controls a little bit like Widowmaker, but of course, Overwatch comparisons aside, there are a lot of characters that are very similar to Overwatch characters, but I will say that the gunplay is definitely not the main part of the game. It really is more about character builds and definitely has a more sort of MOBA feel to it, or at least an RPG feel to it than you might expect from games like Overwatch. So you can see here that there's more kind of conventional movement. You don't see a lot of that sort of verticality and fast movement that you do see in Overwatch. So very different game all the same. Now you might have noticed I am drawing a lot of those comparisons, and the main reason is I feel a lot of people already are. A lot of people have kind of dismissed this as a sort of Overwatch ripoff or kind of Overwatch clone, and it really isn't that. I mean, aside from this game and Overwatch having been sort of been in development around the same sort of time, you can see that this does have inspiration from games like TF2, but unlike those games, it's mainly been about... this has mainly been more of a MOBA, even though the game mode has some similarities with the payload and all that. The way the game sort of plays out still is closer to the MOBA roots than most shooters. So you could even say that Overwatch is closer to TF2 in that sense, while this might be closer to sort of League of Legends or even Heroes of the Storm. But definitely it has some similarities with games like Overwatch, but I think it might be a little bit unfair to dismiss it as being too similar. I don't believe it is that similar at all. So you can see the arc of this cannon really is making it challenging to get some of those shots in. That other character there, which you saw in the kill cam using their ultimate ability, this one right here, he's kind of a cross between Reaper and McCree. He has that sort of design of Reaper, but he has McCree's sort of revolver with the fan the hammer action as well. So definitely an interesting character to play. Now, I haven't played all of the characters yet. I'm still making my way through this. This is just my first impressions, but overall, it seems quite positive. I mean, the game is quite buggy. There are still a lot of things that need polishing up, and there's definitely more content that's going to be added along the way, but I think it's a refreshing change from what Overwatch is providing in terms of game modes. You can have a bit of a different style of play, and of course you can be less focused on, you know, being good at shooting and sort of focusing more on character builds and all that. So it's a very different sort of play style. It has been streamlined a lot since I played it like a year ago, but even so, it's still definitely a much longer game than you might expect from a typical round of Overwatch. And if you were going to get into this, then and you're looking for something that's a little bit more tactical, a little bit more strategic, maybe, this might be more your deal. But especially if you're a MOBA fan, if you've played a fair amount of Dota, or you've played a amount of League of Legends, or even a fair amount of Heroes of the Storm, you might find this a little bit more up your street. But yeah, that's just my first impressions of Paladins. Obviously, it's not a blind first impressions. I have played this game several times before, and it's good to see how far this game has come. It's definitely very stylized, and I do like the look of it. The character designs are quite interesting, and it is a different setting. So, at the very least, even if this might not be the sort of Overwatch competitor in a way, it's certainly something worth looking at if you are looking for an alternative. But that's really it. That's my impressions of Paladins right now. It is in open beta on Steam, and it is free to play, so no harm done in checking it out, especially if you don't have the cash right now to shell out for Overwatch. This might actually be something worth taking a look at. But of course, if you're not keen on games under development, bear in mind that you're going to experience bugs, and there are going to be things changing as this game develops. But yes, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Panzer taking a look at Paladins, now available on Steam. Go and check it out. And my name is Panzer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.